Hi, my name is Pamela Strum, and for those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of Princeton Healing House. In addition to being the conduit of the healing, the advanced healing energy, grid light healing, soul print, and light years, in addition to being an acupuncturist and working with essential oils and doing many different types of healing work with people. The reason I'm coming on today is because many people from different areas of my personal life have asked me what I personally think about what's going on with COVID-19. They want to know. I have been speaking about changes that are going on in our planet and what we can expect to see happening for quite a while. So, and experiencing something on a global scale that is surprising or shocking, people are reaching out to me. So this video is for you. In particular, one of my friends who, after speaking with her, she asked me to record exactly what I said to her so she could listen to it every day. And so I'm recording it for all of you, but this is in dedication to my friend Liza, especially. Well, do I think that the COVID-19 virus came about because Chinese people were eating bats? No, I don't think it's quite that simple either. And that's not the purpose of this video. One person who asked me how I was doing, I said, I am great. And she paused and then said, are you kidding? Do I really mean that? And I really mean it. This is why I really mean I'm doing great. This is a time on our planet, and I've been speaking about this for a while. And for those of you who tune in to any type of energy work or listening to people talking about perspectives that are different than straight news, might have an inkling that it's more than simply some pandemic that's going on. First and foremost, I'd like to say to all of you, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. It feels better simply saying that, because fear can be used as a really a manipulation to keep us from expressing and experiencing all that is great and wonderful going on. So here I go. Let me talk about a little bit more about this. What I sense, to make it tangible, it's as if you were sleeping in a darkened room and you're in your home and you think everything is great because everything is wonderful. You're cozy, but you wake up and you flick on the lights and it's light outside and you see that there's dirt all over the place, smudge marks, dust bunnies, and maybe you feel shocked by that. Oh no, and you realize that maybe it's time to do a big cleanup, a spring cleaning, right? We've entered spring, big spring cleaning. With this virus, what it's doing for us, this situation, especially being asked to socially distance and stay at home, it's more as if our houses, our homes are going under a renovation construction project. What on earth do I mean by this? Well, ultimately, when you go under a renovation or construction, it can seem chaotic. It might be really uncomfortable at times. Sometimes you wish that it wasn't happening. But in the end, it's going to be your beautiful home the way you wish it to be. I'm going to round back to something that has been in history. And this point in time has been predicted from the Native Americans talking about the return of the eagle with the condor, Nostradamus. If any of you follow astrologers, this time is in the stars. It truly is. Some astrologists who I've been listening to are talking about the fact that there are certain energies playing out this year that haven't been in our history since the American Revolutionary War in the 1700s. And there are some points during the year that haven't been aligned this way since the 1980s with the financial collapse or the Great Depression. So what I'm basically saying is that there's a big shakeup. And many of you probably sense big changes in a lot of our structures that no longer work for society. So the government, religious structures, financial structures, and we are going to see a major shift in these structures that no longer serve us, in these structures that are more service to self as opposed to maybe service to humanity. That sounds like a lot. It's not a quick fix. It's not like this is going away quickly, but there's so much that you can do during this time. My father used to say to me, during any situation, even the ones that seem so terrible, someone's benefiting. There's someone who's benefiting. And this always stayed with me when I wondered about, why certain laws were being passed, or how come our government's allowing our food to be manipulated and they're not stopping it, so that really it's so challenging to have access to nutritious food, or our air is being sprayed with chemicals, and so it's so challenging to have fresh clean air or fresh clean water. Well, I'm not here to upset you. I'm here to drive home the message to wake up. Yeah, wake up. Now is the time for us to really step forward, and I want to get a little sciencey on you. For those of you who know me or follow me, I've referenced the Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is science's measure of the energy of the Earth, of this planet. And the Schumann resonance for the past years has been spiking higher and holding at a higher level. The same thing is happening to us because we live on this planet. So our energy is going up and we're holding at a higher level, a higher frequency of energy. This is amazing. So we think of Earth in the third dimension, but with a higher frequency, the dimension of the Earth expands, and we expand as well. And because we're expanding, the Earth expands. In a higher frequency, with more crystalline light coming in, there is complete sovereignty of you as a human being. And all of this fear and panic, depression, anxiety, viruses don't exist. Now, it sounds like it's a far leap away. It's not. These next 6 years in particular are going to be a roller coaster ride of sorts. However, I told you that I'm here to really reassure you and bring in good news as to why this is such an exciting time. Let me also give you a little bit more of a sciencey perspective. So your thoughts are like electrical impulses, and your emotions are like a magnetic impulse. So our thoughts and emotions work together to create what we experience in our lives. And this happens on an individual level, but this happens in a collective consciousness on a global level. If I listen to the news, I start to feel panic inside. So I've stopped listening to many news channels. And I really urge everyone to be mindful of where they follow their news and they get their news sources. Did you ever notice that news seems to be plays with you a little bit because there's a daily weather report? Maybe weather seems like there's a constant storm coming in. And when I've contacted friends, I have a sister-in-law who lives in Denver, Colorado, and I'll say, oh my goodness, how are you? I heard there's a major blizzard hitting the area. She'll say, no, it's beautiful outside. But the news this morning said, no, we're going out for a walk now. It's so gorgeous out. So there's this desire to sell things to you and have you believe that there is chaos. It's not the way you might think. Indeed, because the energy on the planet and we're all expanding, the structures that no longer serve us will seem to crumble and collapse. That can be scary, just like living in a construction zone in your house. It's not comfortable all the time. Sometimes dust kicks up. Sometimes there's a lot of noise. Sometimes it feels like it's difficult to live in it. But ultimately, it's amazing and you get to create, I'm going to say this again, exactly what you want. So, just like many of the great spiritual leaders in my lifetime, or pro-peace leaders in my lifetime, such as Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and more, if you want peace, focus on peace. If you focus on war, you will get war. So, if you wish to experience the true freedom of you as an energetic spiritual being in a human body and all the greatness of life, tap into it and feel that, and feel it now. Because we have a real opportunity here to create a planet that is for the highest and best good of everyone on the planet, of the highest dimensional energy. And what does this mean as far as this virus going on? I'm going to go back to my dad. Who's benefiting from isolating us and creating fear-mongering? I strongly urge everyone to please follow instructions. Go ahead and socially distance. Wash your hands. Absolutely take care of yourself. Eat well. Get sleep. Drink clean water. In addition to that, there are things that you can do to realize that if you listen to the fear, it's going to stir it up, especially in this time where maybe people are financially struggling, they see their jobs changing, they feel isolated. So, go into your heart space and take a deep breath. Radiate your light out onto the planet. And this is what I've been doing in my own life. Of course, I want to take care of myself and I want to take care of my children. I want them to feel calm right now. They're getting a nice break from a very time-oriented schedule and lifestyle, so things are much more relaxed. Yes, we're on timelines and we're on time schedules, but it's so much more relaxed in our lives. And there's more freedom and tapping into that. So take care of yourself, take care of your families. I check in on my parents and check in on your community, because there are people who might need some help right now, and reach out to those people who need help. Are there food kitchens who are asking for help? Take care of your community. But it's really important during this time to also connect. So you're honoring social distancing, but you can connect through social media. I'm going to give you an example. Through my son's school, one of the wonderful teachers at his school had a Zoom conference with parents and teachers for us to share during this time any concerns, but also things that are really working for us and drawing together community. And toward the end of this recording, I'm going to give you some more personal things that I do. But when you are encountering an organization, or you're figuring out all these healers who are stepping forward now, energy workers, way showers, into this incredible time of planetary ascension, when you're deciding what feels right to you and what sounds right to you, if anything's asking you to be afraid or fearful or panicked, I encourage you to step back from that. Remember what I just said about how you think and how you feel. Your emotions will draw in the experiences like a magnet to the electrical impulses of your thoughts. So focus on fear and panic. You're going to get fear and panic. If you focus on the excitement of entering into an incredible time of expansion, and you let yourself feel the joy of that, you'll create more of that in your life, in your family, in your community, and on a global scale. It feels better already. Now, I have some great news for you. A few decades ago, I heard about people who were working on this planet on a global energetic level to anchor a higher light and a higher dimension into this planet. Remember I told you that I'm an acupuncturist? Well, it's sort of like acupuncture for the planet. There are grid lines, there are portals of energy, and we're all connected. And when I first heard this almost a couple decades ago, I thought to myself, I want to be a part of a group that does things like that, that works on this planet to bring in more light, more compassion, more peace, more love, more abundance. And I am. And if you are starting to feel, you go grocery shopping and the shelves are empty, the toilet paper is gone, and you feel like panicked inside, I want to reassure you, even this weekend, there are a group of energy workers, way showers, who are gathering together, and I have it written down. The title of this is the Global Acceleration of Ascension Virtual Summit. So we're meeting online, and it's about different energy workers, way showers, healers, increasing the vibration and frequency and expansion on this planet. Please know that there are wonderful things going on this planet right now. When we see old structures that no longer serve us shift, that's a great thing. Remember, we're thinking in terms of, is it the highest and best good for all? And to really put that out on the planet at this time, really project as if the whole planet is one big network of light. So, bringing it back to those of you who might be really surprised by what's going on right now, what are some things that you can tangibly do? Well, as I said right off the bat, following virtues. So if you meditate, please keep up with your practices during this time. It doesn't matter what tradition it happens to be, but it's a great time to meditate. When people meditate, it's been shown that they expand their energy and they access higher dimensions beyond the third dimension. And I'm not talking about having to be a guru going into a cave. I'm talking about the average person. But even if you don't have a meditation practice, truly being compassionate, understanding, kind, loving, forgiving, grateful, and tapping into abundance, joy is a gift to everyone, and radiating that out at this time. So really quickly, and things that I've been doing with my children, one is to step out in nature. Yes, observe social distancing, but when I've been going out, especially on weekends, people are out. We're social creatures. So this idea of you want to keep a distance, but you may be out and amongst other people. Unless you have been seriously immunocompromised, please do what's right and true for you. But to get out in nature, I had my children out on a hike the other day, and it was incredible because the rocks are the rocks, the trees are the trees, the birds are singing, there's the sound of the water, and it was a feeling of complete peace. And there's a truth in that. So also to reach out to people during this time. Reach out especially if you know of people who are starting to panic and they're feeling anxiety, please be that beacon of light who lets people know we're doing great. We're more than okay. Yes, this is going to be a bumpy ride. We've started a major construction project, to use that metaphor for this time. But it's an amazing time. And if you're here, you've chosen to be here during this time, having this experience of the energy expanding on the planet and really getting a chance to come back to our sovereignty rather than being under a suppression of the benefit of few. So beside keeping up with your energy practices and being out in nature, essential oils, I work with essential oils, and sometimes for people who don't always like to experience needles, I use essential oil treatments in acupuncture on acupuncture points. So essential oils might immediately shift your mood. Personally, I've been working a lot with frankincense and a rose absolute. A rose absolute is a very high frequency essential oil, but something like vetiver is wonderful, especially if you're feeling anxiety or you're feeling high stress and tension. It's very calming. And I also truly love the furs, the silver fir, grand fir essential oils for feeling in a good mood. So whatever works for you, if it's a flower, if it's a tree, if it's something like a frankincense, or sometimes people like a more grounding essential oils, like a sandalwood, whatever works for you, it immediately alters the mood. Essential oils can immediately alter your mood. So really have that handy. And some other tools is laughter. So there are really funny jokes coming out now. They're joking around about the virus. And I love it. I love laughing out loud. So if you're going to pay attention to things that make you feel happy and feel good. But I urge everyone to pay attention. So this has been a time in our lives where we've been so busy, maybe we haven't taken time for ourselves. We numb ourselves out in social media sometimes with the TV. This is a time to come into yourself. I'm going to bring forward very soon. I thought I'd bring it out for Valentine's Day, but it somewhat got shelved because I switched to working on the healing modality, the healing light years and soul print healing that is aimed toward people who are energy workers and healers. And I'm happy that I put that focus in that direction, because we're obviously in a time where the people who help other people in doing healing work, you're all your own healers, but it's a time to really reach out. If you're called to reach out to other people, are putting themselves out there, really putting themselves out there. And it's a time that you have access to many people stepping forward with their gifts to offer to people. But I'm going to round back. And I think that this is the time to experience coming into your heart space. And I was also gifted with from my guides with a heart activation and a time of living in your heart. So I say to all of my clients and patients, it's a time to live from your heart. Not everyone's used to doing that. What does that even mean? So I'll be sharing that, an absolute activation to bring you into your heart space where you really are absolutely able to radiate from here rather than coming up and living from your head where maybe you're experiencing mental loops of worry and fear. Keep in mind, so I'm going to go back to our science, epigenetics is being able to prove that we carry within our genetic line experiences, whether they're traumas or they're times of joy. We carry within our DNA actual emotions and patterns of experiences that have happened in the past to our ancestors. So something like this virus might trigger in our DNA response the panic and the hardship that was experienced during the bubonic plague, or more recently in our history, the absolute fear that came about through lack and poverty during the Great Depression. I know my grandparents were alive during the Great Depression, so it's not that far back in my genetic possibility to feel that. However, all of that is being released at this time, and in a higher frequency and dimension, there's no such thing as this type of suffering. This might be too much of a concept for some people that might blow you away, but you certainly can understand dropping into your heart and reaching out to people and laughing and letting yourself feel the abundance and the goodness of nature. It's springtime. The flowers are exploding. The birds are singing. So feel the moment. Are you good in this moment? Are you at least okay in this moment? Are you good in this moment? Are you great in this moment? And if there's anything within inside of you where you really require some type of help, please reach out to your community. I know my community is open arms to people, and I have seen people flooding forward to help others who are reaching out. So before I end this, I'm going to take a look. I wrote down some notes to hit some main points that I wanted to make. One thing that, a story before I end this. Do you know what an Irish wake is? An Irish wake is when the Irish people, people from Ireland, would party. And I remember talking to an Irish friend of mine saying, why do you call it a wake? You know, a wake is not a happy thing. And it came about from the time when the British were in charge of Ireland. They took over the Irish sovereignty, and they wouldn't allow them to gather, and they wouldn't allow celebrations because it's a tool of manipulation and suppression of dominance. And so the Irish people cleverly got together and would pretend they were together for a wake because funerals and wakes were allowed. But really they were getting together to socialize and to party. And so there's the expression of the Irish wake. Some of you might have a different definition, but I really like this one. It stuck with me. In no way am I advocating that we break social distancing, but what I am advocating is that it is a time to be aware of any news, organizations, or structures that seem like they're in it for themselves. So thank you, Dad, for that awareness from a younger age, where really tune into the people, the organizations that are doing things for the good, the highest good of humanity. That's where you pay attention. And there's a lot of it going on now. And it's really exciting. We are in exciting, amazing times. And the people who reached out to me asking me what was going on, they are in all different professions, from all different backgrounds. And it's certainly heartening to me to know that there are many great people who wish to share their greatness within their professions, being part of a new way of conducting business and living that's for the highest and best good of all. So wake up, join this phenomenal time in your hearts. I will be coming back with more tips, more wake up posts, and really sharing with you this beautiful time of our planet cleaning herself, of people really coming down to a point of peace and reassessing what's for their highest and best good for themselves, for their families, for the community, and for the world. Thank you to all of you. I wish you so much love. And I will be back. Have a great day. Have a great day.